This meeting is being recorded.
Hello and good afternoon. My name is Vanessa Price. Welcome to You're Worth the Price. I hope you are having a great evening because we have a great show for you. It's actually, I guess what you would call a traumatic show. So I want you to sit back and relax and hear this young lady as she shares her story of things that she has gone through and how she is still overcoming and getting through this. But let me tell you, she's a very, very strong woman, and she is fighting these battles with the help of the Lord. So I'm going to bring her to the stage now with a warm welcome, and I'm going to let her start talking to you, sharing a story, letting you know how she's getting through this. So I'm going to welcome her now. Welcome, Kayshawn Brooks. Miss Kayshawn, how are you?
Hi, Vanessa. I am well. I'm excited to be here. A little nervous to, just open up myself, be raw and real, and but excited at the same time because I know I'm walking in my purpose and doing what God wants me to do, and I know everything that I have gone through and going through is a testimony for
Yes.
someone.
Yes. Okay. Now you originate from Oakland, California.
Yes.
What's going
Yes.
on out there with the mud and all of that? Are you safe right now?
Yes, we are safe, but what was really scary, my dad lives in the Oakland Hills. I stay in Central Valley now. It's about an hour away from Oakland, but he lives in Oakland Hills. And when the storms were here, there was a sinkhole
Oh my God.
that happened like literally right around the corner from his house. And I was like, panicking, like, oh my God, Dad, this is why I didn't want you to live on no hill anyway, because of things like this. But luckily it didn't spread. But we're pretty good in the area I am. It didn't flood too bad. So that wasn't nothing but the grace of God.
I'm so glad that you're safe and your dad is safe. Well, we talk
Yes.
about a sinkhole. Let's talk about something that may be a little bit worse than a sinkhole.
Look, okay, that's surface. That's lightweight stuff.
Yes, it is. We were talking the other day, and you said you were hit by an 18-wheeler.
No, on the freeway,
I mean,
someone
a
hit me.
drunk driver. I'm sorry, a drunk driver.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. A drunk
Tell
driver
me
at
something.
85 miles an hour.
Yes. Tell me something about that.
Okay, so you know, this is what the witnesses told the paramedics, that it was a drunk driver, but technically they never got to speak to the person or see them. So it's just speculation. But what happened was,
Oh.
at this time, I was working for the Department of Corrections, and I was coming from work, and I was picking up my kids from school. I was like a minute away from the exit, and all of a sudden I just started spinning out of control.
Oh my
And
God.
I tell you, it was nothing but the grace of God, because I was just tossed and fro on the freeway. All I could see was the divider 1 second, the other cars the next second, and all I could scream was Jesus, Jesus,
Yeah.
Jesus. And he protected me. I didn't hit the divider, I didn't hit no cars
Okay.
or anything like that. But from the witnesses' testimony, this driver hit me plus three other cars, flipped over, landed on their hood,
Mm.
and another car sped up to the side of them, and they jumped out the car, hopped in, and left the scene. So that doesn't sound like a drunk driver.
No, it
That sounds
doesn't.
like something that was planned,
Mm-hmm.
because which stranger just randomly picks up someone on the side of the freeway
Yeah.
after they just witnessed this traumatic accident? And so the next thing I know, I'm in an ambulance, and they are telling me, what's going on, because I didn't know. And just, looking at the car, I was hit to spin out, because I was hit in the quarter panel. I didn't know that until afterwards. But my highly driven, zealous self, you know, and the pressures of being the breadwinner, the sole provider for a family of six, my car was totaled. I went, you know, got out the hospital, went home, and laid down for about 4 hours. And I had to get back up and get back to work because
Oh,
I didn't have the privilege, you know, to rest and let my body heal and recover from such a traumatic experience like that. But I was right back at work. You know, I even had an interview. Literally, now that I
oh,
remember, I was really striving to promote again within the department, well, within the state of California. So I had an interview that next day, and I kind of took it as if maybe this was a test to see, you know, checking my willpower. But
mhm.
yeah, my crazy self kept going. I never stopped. I was in therapy and everything, you know, but life wouldn't allow me to rest.
Wow. Well, did your job realize the trauma that you had endured?
They did, you know, but you know, I'm just another person, another body. They don't care if I'm there to get work done. They gonna allow it, which just to even for you to see an example of how that is exactly 56 days later, as I'm in therapy for the car accident on medication and everything. 56 days later, the gates at the prison
Mhm.
malfunctioned as I was walking through, and I was left there as the gate was crushing me, basically crushing me to death.
Oh my
And so, can you imagine the impact of that on my body after I just
goodness.
was hit? And it wasn't even a full 60 days of me still going. And how I tell people, you know, I was trying not to panic as I was getting crushed because there's officers all around me and there's officers who control the gate. So,
Yes.
you know, trying not to panic, I'm waiting for the person to push the button, you know, to open the
Mhm.
gate back.
Mhm.
And quickly I realized that wasn't going to happen. And you know, the spirit told me, if you don't get yourself up out this gate, you're going to die, Kayshawn. And I'm like, this thing is, and it's crushing me. I'm caught right in the middle. And
Oh,
I'm like, so the metal piece is towards the back, the gate is crushing and it's
oh
designed
God.
to close. Nothing is meant to stop it. So as I say, it was the grace of God. And so I tell people how I got out was, you know, if you watch a show on TV and someone has on handcuffs
Yeah.
and they have to dislocate their fingers to slip their hand through the cuff,
Yes.
that is what I had to do to my back to get up out of that gate. And it was extremely painful, but it was a lot less painful than being split in
Mhm.
half. And so nothing but God got me out of it, because as I'm sliding my body out of the gate, it's still crushing me.
Oh my
So
God.
it just went from the crushing from the middle to the crushing of everything as I slide out the
Mhm.
gate. And once God delivered me from out of that, that's when you
Mhm.
know, it was like, you ain't about to kill my daughter up in here. That's when all the lights and the alarm and all the officers came to my assistance.
Well,
And I have been in therapy ever since.
why were they not opening the gate if they were around you? Okay. I know. I won't even say it. I know. I don't even know why I ask. My God. My God. My God. My God. God is so good.
Right. God is so good.
Yes, He is. Yes, He is. I am so glad He spared your life.
Yes, I am
Okay.
too. And you wouldn't believe that I've been fighting this the whole time. You know, it's not my word against their word. It's all on videotape. But, you know, I've been fighting the work comp, they stopped paying for my treatments, all of that. I'm not getting any disability, no unemployment, no anything this entire time. And this happened back in 2018. So we're going on 5 years, and I had to restructure, my whole life. Just imagine going through all of this. And now, if I want to be seen by a doctor, I got to pay for it. If I need medication, I got to pay for it. If I need treatment, I got to pay for it with no income. And I can't even go get a job nowhere because I can't physically do it. My body has been changed forever.
Wow.
And it's disheartening, to know that you can see the neglect, the carelessness, but I still have to push, that it's like, if they don't care about me, they don't, just throwing me away like garbage, I still got to push and take care of Kayshawn, because God did not deliver me from out of that situation to just give up. But yeah, it's that alone right there is very traumatic, to experience that, and to not not only get compensated, to not even get medical treatment, when I can't even count how many doctors have been fighting for me, MRIs, EEGs, getting electrocuted and everything. All of the tests shows permanent damage.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they still say they don't care. So what?
Jesus. Well, how do you survive, Kayshawn? What do you do?
I pray. I pray, I meditate, I read my Bible, I do a lot of fasting. I've had a lot of alone time, with God. You wouldn't believe that as I'm going through the therapy of this, I think I lasted working a little more than 6 months. That following year, I wasn't working anymore.
Yeah.
And so, but I was still heavily in therapy, and was on an extreme amount of medication. And just, with my background, I'm a former nurse. I was a nurse for 10 years, worked in the medical field for 20. So I know what medication does to you over long periods of time in high dosages.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting sick, that following year. I started getting sick, where I was in and out of the hospital, vomiting, diarrhea, having these gastric pains, I couldn't hold down food and water. And they're just like, what is, we don't know. Basically, long story short, they didn't know what was wrong with me. And they were like, you're going to have to get with those doctors and find you, a specialist or somebody to figure out what's bringing you in and out. And you would think, like, I'm going through enough, learning to use my body again after such a tragic double accident. And now my body got the nerves to get sicker. But I know what excess trauma and excess medication, does to the body. So I'm not surprised of these side effects. But it was just like, what is going on? I'm really, now that I look at it, going through a midlife crisis, and in and out of the hospital to find out I have some tumors. And they were potentially cancerous. And because I'm a holistic person.
Okay.
And if I don't need to have surgery, I'm not going to have surgery. I'm going to advocate for myself. And there was this doctor who, he wanted to do a hysterectomy. And I was like, there's no medical reason for that. He refused to do the surgery. He was like, I said, I just need you to remove the tumors. He said, no, I will only do it if I can do the hysterectomy. So I had to lay bedridden for over a year. And at this time, things were so bad, but I was alone. And oh my gosh, Vanessa, I have never been alone before in my life. I at this time, my husband and I've been with my husband for 17 years. I mean, since I was 17 years old.
Uh-huh.
Never been alone. I went from my dad's house to living with him.
Uh-huh.
But once I got really sick, I ended up by myself with my kids watching me waste away. But I needed to be alone. I didn't know it then. I didn't understand. I'm like, what's going on? But I needed to be alone so that God can speak to me, so that God can lead me. I needed all those people. I felt the bands, too much noise from other people. And I didn't have no choice but to depend and lean on God. And that is how I've gotten through this.
Right, right.
Step by step, day by day.
That's the only way you can. Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you said something about you have a butter body or something like that you started?
Yes, I have. Yes, so it was what's so ironic that year of those accidents.
Uh-huh.
So that first one was in April, the car accident. I
Uh-huh.
got crushed by the gate in March and May, and then in June, I just so happened to get my business license. So I had been creating skincare products for myself and my family for over a decade, and others in the medical field for over a decade at that time. And so I had an opportunity to put my products in a friend's store, but I needed to be a real business. So I'm like, okay, Kayshawn, this is no longer a hobby. Let's get your business license. So who knew? Once I got my business license in June, that next year I will be solely only living in, and this was my source of income. This was my new life, because it was like, what am I going to do now? I've been in the medical field for 20 years. All I got is this old body butter. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. And Spirit of God told me, I'm all like, I'm in a bed. I'm in therapy, like I can't walk, can't do nothing. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? How? And God told me, you're going to do what you did when you were younger. I had a very traumatic childhood upbringing. Both my parents were drug addicts. My mom was an addict for almost 40 years. So, but for me to survive in that environment, to be able to eat, to get out of the abusive environments, to be able to have clothes, I needed to network and build relationships with people and go meet these strangers. That was the only way I was going to thrive and survive, because there was no family hardly around that cared about to get me out of that situation. So he said, the same thing you did to meet people and to survive then, that is what you are going to go do now. And so I have this luxury skincare company, Renew You Body Butters. It's an award-winning company now. And I'm the solution that I was looking for when I was looking for, when we had our problems. So what was a necessity has now become walking into my purpose to help others. So we have facial products, body products, and in 2020, as I'm in my therapy, I'm like, God, I can't do nothing. The business was starting to blow up, and this is when I'm like, I'm sick. The tumors, I'm like, why would you let all these opportunities come? Why is you letting this business grow if I'm stuck here in the bed? And God said, because you got to go out there and meet your people who are going to support you. And Vanessa, this has been nothing but a testimony, a journey that I have 59 affiliates, one celebrity brand ambassador all over the United States, people I have not known. And now I get to take this passion, this purpose, and help others know that don't worry about who's not there supporting you, who's not providing for you, and who you want to be there, because they're not supposed to be there for you. You go out there and meet who God has in alignment for you. And these people there were events that I would have never thought about doing. They came from across this country. We had never met face to face. I didn't pay for no plane ticket, no hotel. They knew they were coming to work for me for over a week, because I couldn't do it. And I'm like, God, I can't believe this. And to be real honest, I was like, I wouldn't have even done this because ain't no way I'm finna meet some stranger, fly across the country. And it's like, I don't know if you setting me up or what, but to be able to experience this and know that as I was walking, you know, when you walking in faith, you walking blind, letting God hold your hand. And it's such a beautiful feeling that I know that he was holding my hand all the way through, carrying me. And it was scary as heck, but it's like, oh my gosh, he had me. He was taking care of me. And now these relationships have evolved where they're still here. These affiliates have been around for almost 3 years. We're still growing and building our relationship together. So what was traumatic in that trauma has now become a blessing and a testimony.
That is a blessing. Okay. Wow. This is a great, great story from trauma to glory. So I'm going to ask you, do you have anything else, final word that you could tell women, men, or anybody that's been bedridden or think they cannot make it? You know, they're just giving up. What would you tell somebody that just feels like, oh, I just cannot do this. It's just over for me. What would you tell them?
I would tell them not to focus on what you can't do. Focus on what you can do, because what you can do is exactly enough. Like for me, when I was bedridden, I'm all like, I couldn't do lives. I couldn't make videos or nothing. I found out, a mentor told me about an app called Clubhouse. And she was like, it's an audio app. You just talk. She was like, you can talk from the bed. That was a godsend, because at that time you only can get on through invite. You know how I got an invite through one of my affiliates who I met online, who was one of the first ones that God had already put in my life. That was the company, the White Label World Expo. They found me on Clubhouse. That's how the people came from across the country. It's like, but I used what I had instead of focusing on what I didn't have. So focus on and keep in mind of what you can do, and be grateful for what you can do. When you get a grateful mindset and a content mindset, it seems like God opens up more opportunities, because it's like, if you're grateful for the little and happy authentically, he's going to open up the windows of blessings for you.
Exactly. Okay, everybody, you heard it here. Kayshawn Brooks, she's told you how she went from being a faithful with a little. Now she has a lot. God has truly blessed her. I'm going to, do you have a website?
Yes. My
website.
Yes, the website is renewyoubody.com. That's RenewYouBodyButter.com. And I'm on all social media platforms: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Pinterest, Twitter.
Oh, okay. So you cannot lose her.
Yes. Can't lose me.
Okay, Kayshawn, I really appreciate you coming to grace this stage. You are a beautiful woman. God has truly blessed you. And we're going to end it for now. Thank you all for joining. You're worth the price. Remember to stay on top of the world, and we will see you on next week. Peace.
Bye.